Buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? In this travel vlog, I share my experience traveling to the beautiful country of Spain, and I have so much to say. I was in Spain for only 4 days split across 2 cities, so I didn't get to visit more places, but my brief time here is enough to make me want to visit again. The first city is Madrid. Madrid is so beautiful, and I struggle to describe it in words. If you watch my previous travel vids, you know how much I like walking in new places to get a sense and vibe of the city. Since I walk around so much, I don't keep track of the name of places, I just go with the flow. I found this nice open park that looks and feels fresh after the rain. The park has plenty of concrete benches to sit on, and paths that are wide enough that at high traffic people won't bump into each other, but there's enough space that you can have your privacy. I noticed that the city maintenance team and citizens do a great job of keeping the parks clean, and plenty of garbage receptacles every few meters. I was completely surprised to see a Tim Hortons in Spain of all places. For many YouTube vids I watch, I know international brands need to customize their offerings to their local population preferences. I didn't make the effort to go inside the Spanish Tims to see how it's different from Canada's, but if you visit, let me know what you think of the menu in the comments below. If you're liking my videos, like and subscribe. It'll help me make more videos faster and produce content that you'll enjoy. Now to my favorite accidental find of Spain, Jardins del Buen Retiro. This park was my favorite part of Madrid, and I was blown away by the massive man-made pod in the middle of it. The monument is of Alfonso XII, a sculptural complex dedicated to the king that has a viewpoint and panoramic view. As you can see, you can rent rowboats for a few euros. It was incredible to see this garden and the architecture in it from the 17th century looking timeless in 2023. The Crystal Palace is one of the best examples of this so-called iron architecture, also for exhibition use managed by Reina Sofia. It was closed when I saw it, but I can imagine how funny it is to have parties inside of it. It's actually pretty common walking through the well-manicured gardens and seeing wildlife inside of it. In Toronto, I've seen several white swans, but seeing black swans in real life was a surreal experience. I'm sure that wildlife is more diverse than I'm actually showing here. There's a statue of the fallen angel, the only sculpture in the world that represents the devil. If I had more time, I'd explore more of the park because there's just so much to see. Beauty is everywhere in this city. Anytime I see complex sculptures like this, I wonder about the sculptor and the sketches he's made, the models he used, and the historical context too. The Royal Palace of Madrid was a sight to behold. With over 135,000 square meters and 3,418 rooms, it has witnessed centuries of Spanish history. It's one of the few official seats of head of state that is open to the public. Fun fact, almost 2 million visitors come here every year to discover its rooms, work of art, and treasures that are unique to the world. Popularly known as Campo del Moro, this is the park adjacent to the palace, created by Philip II when he finished the Alcazar and installed the court in Madrid. Plaza de Mayo is an enormous esplanade in the city center and was created in the 17th century by King Philip III, whose bronze equestrian statue stands in the square. Over the years, it has been a center for many public events such as bullfights, processions, fiestas, and theatrical productions, to the trials of the Inquisition, and even executions. The arcades are home of many traditional shops and a plethora of bars and restaurants. Some of the most notable buildings on the square are the Casa de la Panadera with a fresco facade. After all that walking, I needed food, and lots of it. The path to the restaurant had this nice alcove which reflected most of the summer rays from the pedestrian walking underneath it. I'm a big buffet fan, and the food at all you can eat was so mouth-wateringly good, especially at the low price of €10.95. How can you beat such a good deal? We visited the all you can eat place so often that the staff would say, "Hey, good to see you again," and it was a nice feeling, truth be told. If you go here, don't get food that you're not going to eat, thus throwing it away. The restaurant is quite spacious with a secondary floor that you can people watch as you eat if you find the first floor too busy for your liking. Now for another pub crawl. Honestly, attending these type of events is such a blast because I get to meet people from all over the world in such a short amount of time. Alcohol is not really my thing, but I do like the high octane atmosphere these events contain for a guest. At the pub crawl, I befriended this American couple, Kate and Scott. Kate was doing her master's as an exchange student, and Scott was a biochemist in California. We talked about our interests, our observation of European culture, and so much more. In total, there was about 5 clubs we went to, and were within walking distance of each other. For the most part, these clubs were playing reggaeton, which wasn't really my type of music. It was all about the vibes that night and meeting new people. The last club we visited for the night was the Teatro Capital, which had 5 floors. Every floor had a different type of music and atmosphere to it. There was the main room, karaoke floor, dance floor, cocktail bar, and reggaeton music floor. Truly, the experience in this club was unforgettable. I even made a Portuguese friend there who happened to be a software engineer like me. We spent most of our time talking about our interests, dating, traveling, and more, and I'm still in contact with him to this day. After a long night of visiting pub crawls, my family and I went back to our hostel. The architecture and artwork of cathedrals never cease to amaze me. The sheer size, level of intricacy, and precision of these buildings constantly remind me of how human ingenuity has no limit to it. As I was walking around, I actually stumbled upon this large park called Casa de Campo. Honestly, I feel so overwhelmed trying to describe what I see and how intricate this park is. The amount of bike and running trails, the activities people are doing, and restaurants are available was incredible. It was really eye-opening seeing an elderly couple keeping physically and mentally active by rowing together in this pond or just hanging out on the bench enjoying the weather and people watching. I truly wish I had more time to explore Madrid, and I know that I'll return once I can. So my family and I took the high-speed rail from Madrid to Barcelona, which took about 2.5 hours. Instead of taking an Uber or taxi to our hostel, we decided to walk for 30 minutes and that it wouldn't kill us since it was bright and warm outside. Side note, check out my review on the Osprey 5.40 liter review that I did. One back travel is the best way to travel for extended periods of time. Immediately, I sensed that Barcelona is a faster paced environment compared to Madrid's calmer and more relaxed environment. I was just aimlessly wandering around and came across this open square with too much pigeons in it, but in the background there's outdoor food vendors encouraging passersby to check out the stalls for wine, food, and more. There's no way I could visit Barca and not stop by Sagrada La Familia, an incredible landmark. We didn't go inside because the entrance fees were just too expensive, but I know when I return to Spain, I'd check it out. I also came across Casa Batlló with its striking exterior facade. I heard many good things about this gaudy masterpiece and hope to visit its interior one day. On my walks, I came across the Barcelona Cathedral located in the Gothic quarter. The cathedral was closed at the time, but the courtyard was open for tourists. Inside, I saw the dancing egg, which dates back to 1637 and is one of the most unique traditions in the city of Barcelona. According to my research, this is a one-of-a-kind custom that incorporates the basic elements of an egg, water, and abundance of flowers. These 3 components each represent fertility and fruitfulness, which is important in the rebirth that springtime brings. Also in the courtyard are 13 geese. Saint Eulalia is the patron of Barcelona who suffered persecution for her faith under the reign of the Diocletian. At the age of 13, hence 13 Geeses, Eulalia suffered martyrdom on the Saltire cross. When she was decapitated, a dove flew forth from her mouth. It's said that after her death, a sudden snowstorm covered her mostly nude body like a garment, hence the white geese. That's quite the story, so here's a quick circular montage of the courtyard and the arcade. On a lighter note, I came across Ciutadella Park, which is another massive park in Spain. The big attraction of this park is the Cascada, which is Spanish for waterfall, with its magnificent golden sculptures. At the top of the alcove, I came across an impromptu live music dancing event. Seeing how much fun people were dancing in sync with the music made me realize that I should sign up for salsa classes. I just never know when I'll need it. The park has a nice man-made lake with palm trees in it that you can row your boat in for a few euros for a set amount of time. This is a good place if you want to take your girlfriend, wife, or family because of how relaxed the environment is. The park is so huge that it even has a zoo in it as well as botanical gardens that you can explore. The park is also home to the Museum of Natural Sciences of Barcelona, but that was closed at a time when I was visiting it. On warm summer days like this, it's nice seeing children out and about chasing bubbles in such a carefree manner instead of being inside and staring at a screen all day. I personally believe that some of the best ways to grow as a person is to be outdoors, enjoying activities like walking, rowing, running, or any other physical activities that you like. Spain is truly an amazing country, and I really felt sad for not spending more time here than I should have. Yet this is the part of adventure of life, I think. Unexpected finds in a place you least expected it. There is so much more I wish I could have done in this country, more people I could have met and food to taste. For instance, I wish I could have visited Sevilla, Malaga, and Valencia. Even though I'm not a digital nomad, I understand why Spain is so popular amongst this group of professionals. Even as I was heading to the airport, the Uber driver pointed out to me this bullfighting arena that is still in use. I ended up facepalming myself by not remembering bullfighting originated in Spain and made note that I need to see it when I visit again. Once you visit here, you don't want to leave, but all good things come to an end. Anyways, I headed to the airport for my flight to Paris, France. If you like my travel vlogs, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.